we ranked the 10 most reliable pistols of 2026 from good to nearly unbreakable. We're starting off solid, but by the time we reach the legend sitting at number 1, you'll understand why nothing else even comes close. Number 10 is the Beretta 92X. This pistol comes from a family that has served the United States military for over 40 years under the name M9. That kind of track record does not happen by accident. The 92X uses a steel frame rail system inside a lighter body, which keeps the gun steady during fast strings of fire. Its open slide design lets debris fall out instead of jamming the action, something enclosed slide pistols cannot do as well. Law enforcement agencies across Europe still issue Beretta pistols today because the design rarely fails, even after years of hard-duty use. Owners who put thousands of rounds through the 92X report smooth cycling with steel case ammunition, brass ammunition, and everything in between. The double-action first-shot trigger also acts as a built-in safety check, since a weak strike simply will not fire a round, which prevents accidental discharges from becoming reliability complaints. Recoil spring wear is well documented and predictable, so owners know exactly when to replace parts before a failure happens. That kind of predictability is rare in the handgun world. The 92X earns its spot at number 10 because it combines decades of military-proven engineering with steady, boring, dependable performance that never asks for much and never lets you down. Number 9 is the Springfield Hellcat. This pistol was built for one job, staying in your pocket or waistband and firing every single time you need it. Reviewers who tested the Hellcat through hundreds of rounds of mixed ammunition, from light target loads to heavy defensive hollow points, found it fed everything without a single hiccup. That matters because small pistols often struggle with reliability due to their short slide travel and tight tolerances. The Hellcat manages to avoid that trap. Its grip texture stays secure even with sweaty hands, which keeps the gun from shifting during rapid fire, a hidden cause of malfunctions in smaller guns. The high-capacity magazine, holding more rounds than most guns its size, uses a stiff spring that resists the kind of feed failures common in older micropistols. Night sight options come standard on many models, which matters less for reliability and more for making sure the gun performs when you need it most, in low light, under stress. Owners who carry the Hellcat daily for months at a time report consistent function, even when the gun collects pocket lint and dust. That resistance to everyday grime is a real test of reliability, arguably tougher than a clean range session. The Hellcat proves that small does not have to mean fragile, earning its place at number 9 on pure defensive dependability. Number 8 is the Glock 19. Yes, this is a different pistol from the one waiting near the top of our list, and yes, it deserves its own spot. The Glock 19 is the most copied handgun size in the world for a reason. Police departments across the United States chose this exact model as their duty weapon because it strikes the perfect balance between concealability and shootability, without sacrificing the reliability the Glock name is built on. This pistol uses the same internal design as its larger sibling, meaning it inherits the same simple parts count and the same forgiving tolerances that let it eat almost any ammunition without complaint. Owners who track their round counts into the tens of thousands report the same story again and again: minimal cleaning, minimal wear, and function that never seems to change from round 1 to round 10,000. The polymer frame flexes slightly during firing, which actually helps absorb stress that would crack a metal frame over time. That flex is intentional engineering, not a flaw, because the Glock 19 shares parts and magazines with the larger Glock 17. Owners get the benefit of a massive spare parts market and years of proven aftermarket testing. When millions of copies of the same gun exist in police holsters, gun safes, and duty belts worldwide, problems get found and fixed fast. The Glock 19 earns number 8 because it takes everything that makes the platform legendary and shrinks it down without losing a single ounce of dependability. Number 7 is the Wesson Combat Bulwark. This pistol is built by a company known for taking already reliable designs and refining them even further for professional use. The Bullwark was designed around one single requirement: reliability that a shooter can trust with their life every single day. Testers who evaluated this pistol found it met that bar without question, running clean through mixed ammunition types and holding tight tolerances that most factory guns cannot match. Wesson Combat Hand fits many of the internal components, which sounds like a small detail but actually removes the tiny gaps and play that cause wear over time in mass-produced pistols. The sighting system offers multiple options, letting shooters pick a setup that fits their exact needs without compromising the mechanical function underneath. Because this company built its reputation on 1911 pistols known for precision fitting, that same philosophy carries into the Bullwark, resulting in a gun that feels tighter and more controlled than typical striker-fired competitors. The size and weight were chosen specifically for daily carry, meaning the gun was tested not just for one clean range day, but for the kind of long-term wear that comes from being carried against the body for hours at a time. Owners who carry the Bullwark for concealed use report that the reliability holds steady even after the gun collects sweat, lint, and daily grime most guns never see in a controlled test. The Bullwark lands at number 7 because professional-grade fitting produces professional-grade dependability. Number 6 is the SIG Sauer P365. This tiny pistol changed the entire concealed carry market when it launched, because it managed to pack a high round count into a frame smaller than most single-stack pistols that came before it. That kind of engineering breakthrough often comes with reliability growing pains, and the P365 did face some early hurdles. But the current generation of this pistol has answered those early concerns directly. Testing across a wide range of ammunition, from cheap steel case practice rounds to premium hollow point defensive loads, shows the P365 running clean without feeding issues. The trigger system uses a design that resets quickly and consistently, which reduces the chance of short strokes that cause failures to fire in lesser pistols. Owners who carry the P365 daily, exposing it to pocket lint, sweat, and constant handling, report steady function that holds up over thousands of rounds. The night sight options that come on many models help shooters place accurate hits under stress, working alongside the mechanical reliability rather than replacing it. Because the P365 sparked such intense competition in the micro-compact market, other manufacturers had to catch up fast, which pushed the entire category toward better reliability standards across the board. That ripple effect makes the P365 more important than just its own performance numbers suggest. The P365 claims the number 6 spot because it proved a tiny gun could still be a trustworthy one. Number 5 is the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. This pistol shares the same basic size and role as several guns already on this list, which forces a direct comparison, and the M&P 2.0 holds its own without flinching. Testing that pushed this pistol through more than 1,000 rounds of mixed brass and steel case ammunition found zero malfunctions across the board. That kind of consistency across different ammunition types matters more than a single clean range session, because it proves the gun handles the small variations in bullet shape, powder charge, and case material that real-world ammunition always has. Law enforcement agencies across the country carry the M&P 2.0 as their duty weapon, which means the gun has already passed the kind of rigorous evaluation police departments require before trusting it with an officer's life. The grip texture on this pistol is more aggressive than many competitors, which keeps the gun locked in the hand during rapid firing strings, preventing the kind of grip shift that causes malfunctions in guns with smoother frames. Owners who upgrade the trigger components report the mechanical reliability stays completely unaffected, meaning the core action of the gun was engineered soundly from the start, separate from small ergonomic preferences. Over 20 years of real-world service across the broader M&P platform gives this pistol a track record that few newer designs can claim. The M&P 2.0 sits at number 5 because it delivers duty-grade dependability without asking shooters to compromise on comfort or control. Number 4 is the Heckler and Koch VP9. German engineering carries a certain reputation in the firearms world, and the VP9 lives up to every bit of it. One VP9 with a red dot sight mounted had already been fired more than 12,000 times before a reviewer got hands on it for testing, and that heavily used pistol still performed flawlessly during the review session. That is not a fresh gun out of the box putting up good numbers. That is a gun already worn in from real training classes and daily practice still running perfectly. Separate testing that focused specifically on reliability pushed the VP9 through 1,500 rounds of mixed brass and steel case ammunition without a single malfunction. The trigger on this pistol resets in one of the shortest distances of any striker-fired gun on the market, which might sound like a comfort feature, but it actually reduces the chance of user error during rapid fire, since shooters do not have to release the trigger as far to reset it. The paddle-style magazine release, while different from what many American shooters are used to, was engineered to work equally well for left-handed and right-handed shooters, removing a common failure point where users struggle to drop magazines quickly under stress. Owners who feed this pistol everything from budget aluminum case ammunition to premium personal defense rounds report the same story: smooth cycling with no hiccups. The polygonal rifling inside the barrel reduces fouling buildup over time, which keeps the gun running cleaner for longer between maintenance sessions. The VP9 takes number 4 because it backs up its premium price with premium, battle-tested performance. Number 3 is the SIG P10C. This pistol entered the market with a bold challenge to the most dominant name in the industry, and it backed up that challenge with real performance. Long-term testing that pushed the P10C through 1,500 rounds found it ran flawlessly through nearly every type of ammunition thrown at it, including budget steel case rounds that caused problems in less forgiving designs. One of 2 test pistols developed a loose extractor pin during testing, a minor and easily fixed issue, while the second pistol ran completely clean the entire time, showing the kind of consistency that matters most in reliability testing. The trigger on this pistol draws direct comparison to guns costing hundreds of dollars more, offering a crisp break that helps shooters place accurate follow-up shots quickly. That accuracy advantage works alongside the mechanical reliability rather than against it, since faster, accurate shots reduce the total time the gun spends cycling under stress. The metal sights that come standard resist damage far better than the polymer sights found on many competing pistols, meaning the gun stays combat ready even after drops or rough handling. Military adoption gives this platform serious credibility, since the SIG P10 design was chosen by the German military under the designation P13, a selection process that involves brutal reliability tests most civilian shooters never see. The nitride coating on the slide resists corrosion and wear, keeping the gun running smoothly even after years of carry against the body where sweat and moisture cause the most damage. The P10C earns the number 3 spot by proving that newer designs can absolutely compete with, and in some ways exceed, the reliability of far more established names. Number 2 is the SIG Sauer P320, specifically the military variant known as the M17 and M18. This pistol did not just pass a reliability test, it won an entire military competition against multiple other manufacturers. A process that involved thousands of rounds fired under extreme conditions, including dust, mud, sand, and temperature extremes most civilian shooters will never experience. The United States Army selected this exact pistol platform to replace their previous standard sidearm, a decision that only comes after brutal head-to-head testing against every major competitor in the industry. Over 200,000 M17 pistols have been delivered to the military since that selection, putting this design through more real-world use than almost any other handgun released in recent years. Lot acceptance testing, which checks new production batches before they reach soldiers, pushed 3 separate M18 pistols through 12,000 rounds each, with 0 malfunctions recorded across any of them. Since standard military lot acceptance testing only requires 5,000 rounds per gun, that is more than 7 pistols worth of testing packed into 3 guns, and every single one passed without failure. The modular design lets the internal firing mechanism move between different frame sizes, meaning the exact same trigger and fire control unit that passed military testing can be dropped into a smaller carry frame without losing any of that proven reliability. Civilian testing backs up the military numbers, with reviewers putting over 2,000 rounds through this pistol and reporting 0 failures to feed, chamber, fire, or eject across the entire test. Early production models of this platform did face a voluntary safety recall related to accidental discharges under specific drop conditions, and it deserves mention because ignoring it would be dishonest. The manufacturer addressed that issue directly with updated components, and every pistol produced since has incorporated those fixes. The P320 platform claims number 2 because winning a military contract against every major competitor is not something that happens by luck, it happens through proven, repeatable, battle-tested reliability. Number 1, the most reliable pistol of 2026 is the Glock 17. This is not a surprise pick, and that is exactly the point. Reliability is not about flash or hype, it is about consistency over time. And no pistol on earth has more documented consistency than this one. One test that started in 1988 and continued for 18 years put more than 250,000 rounds through a single Glock 17, including immersion in both freshwater and saltwater dozens of times throughout the testing period. The tester specifically chose not to clean the weapon until it either reached 10,000 rounds or began to malfunction. A deliberate stress test most gun owners would never dare attempt. The pistol kept firing. Separate testing on a different Glock 17 reached 100,000 rounds, with the trigger pull actually becoming smoother over time rather than developing problems. And not a single additional malfunction occurred after the initial break-in period. That same pistol still grouped shots inside 3 inches at 25 meters. Proving the accuracy held steady even after tens of thousands of rounds wore through the barrel and internal components. A newer generation test pushed a Glock 17 through 1,000 rounds using the cheapest available steel case ammunition alongside expensive premium defensive rounds, deliberately firing the mixed ammunition during the final 200 rounds, while the gun sat dirty and unlubricated from the previous 800 rounds fired. Clean or dirty, cheap ammunition or expensive, the pistol simply did not care, and it kept firing without a single issue. Sub-zero cold testing pushed a Glock 17 through 7 hours frozen using dry ice, and even with ice physically blocking the slide from closing completely on the very first magazine, the gun still managed to fire every time the trigger was pulled. By the second magazine, the ice had cleared enough that the pistol ran through all 17 rounds without a single hiccup. That test matters because it shows even when conditions push the design past its limits, the gun still finds a way to function rather than locking up completely. The original Austrian military testing that first introduced this pistol to the world back in 1982 involved freezing the gun solid in a block of ice and heating it past 200 degrees Fahrenheit, extremes that would destroy most mechanical devices, and the Glock 17 endured both without failing. That test is the reason the Austrian military adopted this pistol as their standard sidearm in the first place, setting off a chain reaction that led to police and military forces across the entire world following the same decision over the following decades. The simple internal design, using far fewer moving parts than most competing pistols, means there are simply fewer components that can wear out or break in the first place. Fewer parts means fewer points of failure, and that basic engineering principle is the real secret behind every legendary torture test this pistol has ever passed. The Glock 17 takes the #1 spot not because of marketing or reputation alone, but because over 4 decades of documented, repeated, brutal testing all point to the exact same conclusion: this pistol simply does not quit. That wraps up our countdown of the most reliable pistols of 2026. Every gun on this list earned its spot through real testing, real round counts, and real-world proof rather than empty claims. Reliability is not about which pistol looks the best or costs the most. It is about which one keeps firing when everything else fails around it. Drop a comment below telling us which pistol on this list you trust the most. And let us know if there is a gun we missed that deserves a spot on a future countdown.